for the most improved unit in 2014 and 2015, and the most improved unit in Tennessee in 2019. She's a member of the Queen's Court of Sharing and a two-time member of the Court of Personal Sales. She's made 7 appearances in the unit circles, including 2 times in the prestigious $500,000 Circle of Achievement. Debuting as a national sales director out of the Lene Tate area in July 2021, she's a member of the NSD Millionaires Club with over $1 million she's earned in commissions since starting her business in 2012. And she's achieved Diamond Circle status this year, her first as a national sales director. To teach the class, It Just Fits, I'm super excited for you guys. Let's please welcome Independent National Sales Director, Jamie Taylor.
Good morning, everybody. How is your seminar going so far? That's what I thought. And from what I heard, there are several of you who this is your first seminar ever. So I just want to say welcome. I'm so excited. Our speakers have been incredible this morning, have they not? You guys have pages in your notebooks ready to go home and implement and tackle what you've learned? Well, as we close our session today, before we have an exciting night at the awards show, which again, I know for many of you, it'll be your first time, I want to take a little time today to talk to you about building your team. How many of you guys have a goal to grow your team this next seminar year? Okay, that's a lot of you. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Well, a little bit about me. 10 years ago, almost exactly to the date, I came to my first seminar in 2012, and I sat in this class. I did not have any team members yet. And this class, oh my goodness, I took so many notes, and I went home, and what I did was, like I just told you to do, I implemented the things that I learned in this class. I left, first of all, something I'd love to tell you is I came to seminar, first of all, no team members, never been a star. I was a brand new beauty consultant who just started in June. I left seminar with my first ever team member, and I'm going to tell you how I did that in a second. And I went home that year. I actually completed the Court of Sharing, which is 24 qualified team members. I got my Diamond Bumblebee here to show for it. And I became a sales director and earned my car that year while in college. So I started that seminar year right here in this room, in the seat that you're in today. And I don't mean this to sound like sassy or snarky, so please don't take it that way. But I remember when I sat in this class, I didn't have a red jacket. You know what I mean? And it was fine, going to seminar, I was like, it's fine. I can wear my cute little outfit. But by the time I was on day 2, I was like, okay, I want a uniform. You know what I mean? I want a red jacket. I want a sales director suit. Next time I come to one of these things, I gotta have, a Mary Kay get up. And so I hope that for you as well. And I hope that something we go over today can help you on your journey to building your team. So my objective for our time together is I want to help you feel more confident around growing your team and adding team members. And in my opinion, what I learned in that first year after leaving this seminar and going on to become a sales director that year, building a large team of about 50 people that year, I learned the key to building a team is feeling confident and having a plan. You're going to need a plan. I don't know if anybody's ever felt this way, so I won't ask for a show of hands, but I know for me, when I was sitting in this class, looking around, looking at the women on the stage, I almost had this feeling of like, some women, they just have it. They just have, they have that thing that makes people join their team. They've got the magic touch. And I don't know if you've ever felt that way, but I just wasn't sure that I had that. But what I learned to do that year was, like Dana just said, the law of averages. I learned to have a plan and sharing the Mary Kay opportunity. And when I shared with enough people, some of them joined my team, and I became one of those girls that seemed like she had the magic touch. She had that thing, that it factor. But it wasn't that at all. It's simply sharing the opportunity with enough people. And you probably know that, but maybe you felt overwhelmed in starting your business, and where do I begin to tell my friends, my customers, and my family members about the Mary Kay opportunity? How do I do that? So let's talk about it today. So I would love to back up. Like I said, I got my first team member actually while I was here at seminar. And so this is how it happened. On day 0, my national sales director, Dawn Dunn, had her area awards night. Maybe some of you guys have gotten to attend one of those this week. And she gave us a challenge before we left. And back then, we had these things called hotlines. I don't know if anybody was in 10 years ago, but before we were using YouTube videos or, Facebook Live or things like that, our nationals would have their stories recorded on a hotline that people could literally call in and listen to on the phone. And so she said, whoever in this room can get the most people to listen to my hotline recording in the next 24 hours, which was the Mary Kay, her story and the Mary Kay opportunity. That's all it was. Whoever can have the most people listen to this will get some designer jewelry for me. So I was like, well, that is something that I can do. I haven't, necessarily collected many accolades yet, but I could do that. And I am here to tell you, I did not win the designer jewelry, okay? I did not win that contest, but I got my first team member, and it taught me something so important. So what I did was I reached out to I started with my family, as you do. And of course they knew I was doing Mary Kay. I was in Dallas, Texas at a seminar. They had, started buying their foundations from me and things like that. But it was time for me to formally let them know about the Mary Kay opportunity. We were actually just talking about it yesterday backstage. And so I asked my mom and my mother-in-law and my sister-in-law and my sisters and my friends that I went to college with, I'm in a contest, okay? And I need you to listen to this recording, please, and thank you. And of course they did. And it just so happened that a girlfriend of mine that I went to college with said, sure, I'll help you. Absolutely, I'll listen to it. And when she heard the opportunity, she discovered that this might fit for me. This could actually be a good fit for me. And she texted me back and she said, I listened to it and I have some questions and what if I want to do this? And so now it was no longer about the jewelry I could earn or the contest I was in. It was wow, somebody really wants to do this. Join my team, be a consultant. Really? That was so exciting to me. And she signed her agreement before I left seminar. And so this would be similar, it's people hearing the Mary Kay opportunity. This would be similar to the Pearls of Sharing program. And what was so interesting, you guys, was I was not even the one who shared the opportunity for this first team member. I just had them listening to back then it was a recording. Maybe now it'd be a video or getting on an event that your director's putting on, but it would be kind of like that. But this is what I learned. Not everyone said yes and joined my team. That's I had lots of friends and family members listen to help me with my contest. They did not all fill out an agreement, but they did listen politely to help me reach my goal. As a matter of fact, that's why every single one of them listened to the hotline. I had a goal. I had a goal. That goal had a deadline. I needed help. And I asked them, would you help me with this? Which is something I had not had the courage to do up to that point in my career. And they all said, yes, of course. And they all listened to be polite. But one of them heard, really, that the opportunity could be a good fit for her. And that is the exciting part, you guys. We have no idea why this might be a good fit for someone. All we have to do is start offering it, start letting people know about it, start telling people maybe why this could fit for you. It might not be for you, and that's okay, but let me tell you about it. Because when I think about it, it was the same thing for me. When I went to my Mary Kay facial that I was booked for back in 2012, I bought a miracle set. I was excited about it. And at the end, after she closed my sale, like a good beauty consultant she was trained to do, she said, hey, before you leave, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about how we make our money. And I was like, okay. All right, sure. I don't know if anybody else did that, but what did I do? I listened politely. And I have to say, in all of my 10 years, I can't think of a single time somebody said, nope, I don't want to hear it. Every single time, they'll say, okay, yeah, sure, do your thing. And as I sat there listening, we started the conversation with me thinking, absolutely not, never in a million years. I'm not becoming a beauty consultant. I'm just gonna let her get through her spiel and I'm gonna get out of here. But as she started telling me about the company, about our legacy, about how we make our money, about the 50% profit, about the discount benefit, I started to lean in a little bit more and I started to look at it through a new perspective. I would not have joined her team. Let's be really clear. I would not have joined her team if she had not taken the time to explain it to me. And so I think it can be so easy for us sometimes to feel a little emotional about team building. Like, how am I going to find them? Are they out there? Where are they? How do you guys get these team members? How do you build these teams? This girl just went into DIQ. How did she do it? But it was so much, I want to give you so much freedom and knowing if you're just willing to share the opportunity with enough people, if you will share enough people in a short enough amount of time, you can build any team that you want to. You just have to be willing. So we get to find out if this could be a good fit for them, whether it's the extra money, the flexibility, the empowering environment, a value-based company, the love for the products, the discount, or just sometimes people are out there and they're looking for something more and they don't think that it's going to come in the form of a direct sales company, but they are looking for something. I don't know if anybody out there can relate to that. When Mary Kay found me, I was 20 years old. I was cleaning houses on the side, and I also babysat. And what I liked about cleaning houses and babysitting was that it wasn't necessarily like an hourly wage kind of thing. I could go in, knock out a house in a few hours and make pretty good money, and same thing for babysitting. But I was looking for a nice way to make some extra money while I was in my last year of college without necessarily committing to like a barista job that would take 15 or 20 hours out of my week. I was looking for something a little more flexible. Now, I could not have told you I'm looking for a flexible opportunity, perhaps in the direct sales industry, to take me into my last year of college. I couldn't have articulated that, but I was looking for something. And a fun little fact about my facial was I brought homemade business cards with me that I printed off on cardstock and cut out, and they said Jamie Vinning, babysitting and cleaning services, and my phone number. And I gave her my business card because she had 3 kids, and she took it politely, but instead of hiring me on as a babysitter, she shared the opportunity with me. I didn't know that I was looking for something like this until she shared it, okay? So, back to seminar. I came to this class. I took up tons of pages of notes that I still have to this day. But when I got home, I decided, I invested the time and the money to come to seminar. I took the notes, I sat in the classes, and if I'm gonna do this, if I'm gonna build this business, which even leaving seminar, I did not know what was in store for me. I didn't even know that directorship was necessarily possible for me, but I wanted to make this work. And so I decided I've got to implement the things that they taught me. And that took a lot of courage for me. I don't know if anybody can feel that, but parties felt uncomfortable for me. I had a deep fear of public speaking, which is ironic that I'm doing this right now. But back then, oh my goodness, but I had to have the courage to just get started. And so what I decided to do was, this class plus the online education that we had, which is now called MK University, plus my weekly meetings that I was plugged into, all of those things gave me the confidence and the courage to get out there and start working the business. And what I did was my first power start when I got home about a month later after seminar. And I don't know if any of you have ever heard me tell this story, but I want you to know that one power start that I did as a senior beauty consultant in the late summer of 2012 resulted in, I finished my red jacket. I became a star by September 15th. And 13 of the offspring sales directors that finished my national area, which we have about 30 directors in our area right now, 13 of those offspring directors can be traced back to my first power start that I did in 2012. And if you had told me that when I was sitting in this class, I would not have even comprehended. And I know they just mentioned it, and I know you saw me on the stage yesterday getting recognized for my $1 million plaque, which represents the amount of commissions I've made in the lifetime of my business. And what I want you guys to know is that that work that I did as an independent beauty consultant, as a senior beauty consultant, even before I was in my red jacket, it's much like if you invest money, right? If you take money and you put it into an investment account, what'll happen? That dollar that you put in, it will grow and it will become worth more than the dollar you originally put in, and it compounds over time. Well, this was the exact same thing, where the work that I did as an independent and senior beauty consultant, I did it early. I built my team. I got in there. And because I worked the business full circle, that work compounded, and a huge part of that $1 million in earnings can be traced back to that work that I did when I got home from seminar, because literally almost half of my area can be traced back to that work. Back then, I could not have comprehended that, but that's how it unfolded. And so as I got out there and I saw the faces, I made a promise to myself that I was just going to do what I was trained to do from this class, from the things I was learning. And one of the things that came from working full circle was, I'm going to book people. I'm going to share the products with them. I'm going to have the courage to close the sale. I'm going to have the courage to get them on the products. And once I do that, I'm going to finish the job, and I'm going to share the opportunity. And actually, one of those stories that comes from that is my first Offspring sales director. She's now today an executive sales director. She's sitting in the executive class a few classes over. Her name's Megan Coleman. She's earned 4 top sales director trips. I first facialed her when I was finishing that Power Start. She was 17 years old. I drove 45 minutes to finish the Power Start. She was face number 30. And I did the facial like I was taught to do. I closed the sale like I was taught to do. And at the end, I knew this girl is 17. She literally could not join my team if she wanted to. But I have been trained to share how we make our money at every appointment. So I'm just going to do it. So I finished my Power Start that day. I did share. Of course, she didn't join my team. I thanked her for her time. She also bought nothing. I should mention that she bought nothing. I was so excited. I finished my Power Start. I went home, drove the 45 minutes home, but 6-7 months later, she did turn 18. She reached out to me. She said, "Do you remember me?" I said, "I do remember you." She joined my team while I was in DIQ, has been with me ever since, and she was a huge part of finishing my area and a huge part of the success that I have today. And I almost didn't share with her, right? But because it's what I was trained to do, I did. So what I want you to do this year is to make the commitment to yourself that as you're working this business, when we say full circle, it's easy to skip over the team building aspect, to just get excited about the sales, sell the skincare set, be excited about your new customer, because it does take courage. It takes courage to ask people the questions and to share with them what we do. But I'm asking you to do it, to just do it, because it's what we do. And when you give yourself that freedom of, I always do it, I always share it because it's what we're supposed to do. If I build a new customer, I will be sure to share the opportunity with her because it's what I'm supposed to do. You give yourself actually this beautiful freedom of never having to negotiate with yourself or wonder, should I share with her? I don't know. You just take it off the table and you just know, if she's my customer, I got to share with her. It's just part of what I do and working full circle. It might not be for her, and that's okay. That's okay. It's just a part of what I do. I share how we make our money. And when you do that, you guys, then all you have to do is just focus on the basics. Booking and coaching appointments, and whether that's virtual or in person, I know we've talked about that this morning, you can just focus on just getting in a rhythm to see enough faces or to connect with enough people to generate enough leads, because once I get in front of them and I connect with them hearing the opportunity is just going to be a part of the experience, and you don't have to have some special game plan for team building, and you will naturally team build, which is what I did that year. Team building became very natural. Every month I was adding 2 to 3 team members a month. Then before you know it, I submitted DIQ February 1st of that year. And then so during DIQ, I was adding 5 to 6 personal team members a month. But it wasn't like I woke up and I was like, I have to hunt down 5 team members. No, I just knew I have to see enough faces and do enough work. I'll be sure to share the opportunity with all of them, and there will be team members out there. And what I learned was I I didn't necessarily have to find my friends and family to join my team. I just had to build a customer base, and I would meet incredible people who would be incredible team members. And most of my team members ended up being people I didn't know when I signed my agreement. And that was so exciting to know that around, as long as I had bookings on my books, around the corner any day on a random Wednesday after classes, if I had a facial with somebody, she could potentially be a team member. And it felt good that at the beginning of every week, I knew I could sign some team members this week. It just depends on who's out there. As long as I had things in my books, what freedom. It just freed me up to go work the business, and team building became pretty simple. So I want to talk about something today with our time. We have something, and you can find this on InTouch. This is our new team building flyer. So laminated this just for you guys. You got to print this out. If you don't know how to find it, you're going to go to the education tab on InTouch, okay? Then you're going to go down to how to team build. And there's lots of resources there. Then go down to the bottom and click supporting materials. And then you're going to find this. And you can get it's labeled team building flyer. And you can get it in English or Spanish. Print one out, laminate it, okay? And then print out a bunch more. I actually have about 100 printed in my office, and I'm gonna get to that in a second. But this is what I would do. Back in the day, in 2012, we did not have one of these, so I kind of made my own, actually. But what I found was having something to hold in my hand at the end of my appointments and to read off of gave me confidence, and it gave me a plan. Like I said, a plan freed me up to not wonder, okay, I know I got to share, but like, what am I going to say? I just learned to just say the same thing. And if I felt nervous, because a lot of times I did, because I had a fear of public speaking, I would just read what I had printed out. And now Mary Kay made it so easy because it's on one sheet of paper, front and back. This would have been incredible for me. So I would share at the end of the party. And it's so easy, you guys. So this is what I would do. I would say, oh my gosh, did you guys have fun today? Finishing spray means we're finished, because I always use finishing spray at the end. I said, finishing spray means we're finished. Did you guys have fun? And they'll say, yes. And I would start to close I would do a table close, just kind of explaining some bundles and some deals we have and how you can shop today if you want to. Get that out of the way. And then before we get up from the table or anything like that, and if it's a one-on-one facial, it's the same thing. After I see if she needs to order anything, see if she wants to add to her collection today, I'll say, well, before you go, one thing that I always do at the end of all my appointments is just tell people a little bit more about what we do, if that's okay with you. And like I said, in my 10 years, I've never had somebody say no. And that's the truth. So I'd say, oh my gosh, well, thank you so much. So I'm just going to tell you just a little bit more about being a beauty consultant. And so I obviously at this point they know I'm Jamie, but I'd say I'm Jamie, and I started my business. I've been building my business now for about 2 months. It's been so much fun. I'm currently in college, and I just decided to do this to have something fun on the side. So that's me right now. I'm really enjoying it. And somebody just shared with me a little bit about it, so I'm going to share with you. And it might not be for you. That's okay. But I would love to tell you a little bit more about what we do. And so the cool thing about being a Mary Kay beauty consultant that I learned a couple months ago is that it just fits your life. I learned that it's actually so flexible. A part of that flexibility is that I learned we didn't have any quotas. You know, I didn't sign up for extra homework, right? I'm already in college. So there's no quotas. So I learned that I could make it what I wanted. You know, do I want to put a lot into it or just a little bit? I learned about the flexibility, and just having that extra money on the side has been so awesome and empowering for me. As a matter of fact, I was able to drop one of my part-time jobs and be able to just make flexible income this way and focus more on school and my boyfriend, who's now my husband. He's out there somewhere. Something else that I learned is just how I can balance. You can balance the Mary Kay opportunity right into what you're already doing. So, you know, I'm busy with classes and work, but because we don't have those quotas, there's nothing necessarily required of me. And so it's been really cool for me to just be able to balance it, to squeeze it in when I can, to sprinkle it in. I sprinkle it into my life. And of course, my friends, family members, people that I already see anyways, they've become customers, which has been really fun. So it's been a good fit, and it could potentially be a good fit for you too. And the other thing that I learned that I did not know was how much commissions a beauty consultant can make. Would anybody here like to take a guess at how much commission a beauty consultant can make, like percentage-wise? It's great to ask questions, by the way, guys. The brain works like 3 times harder if you're asked a question. So it keeps your party engaged. And they'll guess, and they'll say 20%, 25%. I say, that's a really good guess. But actually, that's a 50%. That is half. Do you know how good that is? And usually their eyebrows will go up, and I'm like, well, that's pretty good. And I'd say, so, you know, how this works for me is if my grandmother spends $100 with me, which, by the way, she has, and she does. When my grandmother spends $100 with me, as an example, I could make up to 50% when I charge her the full retail price. $50. I would make $50. Here's what I thought about. My grandma is spending money somewhere on cosmetics and skincare. Of course she would love to spend it with her granddaughter, and the products are amazing. So, you know, making that $50, that was just a no-brainer for me. That would be so easy to fit into my busy life. And at this point, they're usually nodding along. The next thing that is really cool about the Mary Kay opportunity is it helps you be who you want to be. That we have such a culture of just helping other women. And at the end of the day, that's all a beauty consultant is we help meet people's needs. That's all that we do. So if you don't feel like, oh, I'm not the sales type, listen, I felt that way too, but I realized I could help meet people's needs. You know, I could help them figure out what's a good skincare regimen if their skin's more oily, or help, you know, match a good concealer color for them if they have a scar that they'd like to cover up. And it's been so fun to help them meet those needs so that they feel more beautiful. It's so much fun. I would do that part of it for free. And that is really what I do as a beauty consultant. And I love doing it. So that's truly at the heart of what I do. I help other women, but I've really also loved the empowering community. I didn't know that I needed it until I found it. And that is our Mary Kay Sisterhood. And the other thing I'll say is there's so much free education and training that's available to us all the time. It's not mandatory, but it's there for us. So, you know, when I started, I knew very little about makeup. As a matter of fact, I'd never worn eyeliner in my life, but I decided I could learn. And so we have education for all of that. And I've been able to learn so much more about the products, which has helped me in my confidence, but it's been an easy part of the process to help other people. Number 3, we sell products that we believe in. I know when I visited my first Mary Kay facial, I fell in love with the products. And so it kind of became a no-brainer. We use the highest quality ingredients. Mary Kay literally does hundreds of thousands of product tests every single year. So I've got confidence in what I'm selling. I couldn't do this as a beauty consultant if I didn't love what I use. And I don't know if you would agree with me, but after trying them today, don't you love them? I just absolutely love them. And so couldn't be here today if I did not love and use these products. And what I learned was I could easily help my friends and family members fall in love with a few products if I wanted to, and in the process make a 50% profit. And hey, we get a 50% discount on the products too. So that's kind of nice. And the last thing that I learned was just about the company, Mary Kay, the company. I learned that it was started by a real woman. Yes, Mary Kay was actually a real lady. Fun fact, did you know Betty Crocker was not real? She was not real. But Mary Kay was a real lady, and she was so ahead of her time. This company has been around for almost 60 years, and she created it for women. And we actually have a saying in Mary Kay that's faith first, family second, and career third, which I thought was really unique. And I can honestly say, after being in it, I've really been empowered by the ladies I do Mary Kay with to put my faith, my family, my priorities first, even my schoolwork. And that has just been so awesome. And the other thing that I learned was just, oh my goodness, Mary Kay, how much they give back to women. As a matter of fact, they've donated over $57 million to help end domestic violence, as well as cancer research for cancers affecting women. So it's just all about women. And it was just something that when I heard about that, it was a company I'd like to align myself with. So after I learned about some of those cool things, it just kind of made logical sense for me personally, since I like the products, and I could easily sprinkle this in. That's why I wanted to share it with you. But I just wanted to tell you, if you ever did think about doing what I do, getting started is so easy. And you also have options. So you can get started with your choice of 2 starter kits. One is $130. You're going to get over $400 worth of full-sized products. It's such a stinking good deal. And you have everything that you need to do parties like that we just did today, right? So it's only $130. Or we also have a virtual option, which is only $30. So that's going to get you in the system. You're going to be a beauty consultant, and you're also going to get your own website, credit card processing, so you're a businesswoman ready to go. Of course, those things also come with our full starter kit. And you can even add on a sample pack that comes with catalogs and just tons of samples that you can hand out to your girlfriend, your mom, your grandma. And so that's a fun additional, optional add-on. I wanted to share that with you today. So I have a couple questions for you, if that's okay. I was wondering, was there anything new that you learned today? Tell me something new that you learned about the Mary Kay opportunity, and be quiet, right? And they'll tell you something new that they learned. Maybe it's the 50% profit or something like that. Two, do you have any questions for me? I mean, there's no such thing as a stupid question. I would love to know if you could ask me anything about my Mary Kay business, what would it be? And then number three, no right answer. Seriously, no right answer. Don't worry about my feelings. I just honestly want to know, what do you think about this opportunity when you hear it? What do you think you'd be? An A would be like, I'm interested. Like, let's do this. Like, let's talk. I think I might want to be a beauty consultant with you. A B would be, buy me a cup of coffee. Book me for a second appointment. Let's keep talking. You got my wheels turning. I'm not saying yes and I'm not saying no, but you got my wheels turning. And a C could be maybe one day, but for now I'm a happy customer and I love my customers. So honestly, which one would you be? And from there, let her answer. And Mary Kay you guys, they have another resource for us. It's called the 6 Most Important Follow-Up Tips, which you can find right next to the team building flyer, where if somebody tells you, I don't know, I'm just kind of busy, or I don't know, there's an entire document that Mary Kay has for you that can help you overcome objections. But it's really just about having a conversation. So I wanted to share that with you guys. Like I said, I keep about 100 printed out, and I just fold them up, and I keep them in this cute little cello bag here. You can get them at the dollar store, and it has my business card in it, and it has a piece of gum so they can chew on it. So I just give you something to chew on. And this just makes me look professional. It makes me look like I'm serious about my Mary Kay business. So when somebody comes and I take the time to share the opportunity with them, and they're like, I don't know if it could be for me. I'll say, well, it's okay. Well, here's a piece of gum and some literature just to chew on it. And it communicates to them, I'm a businesswoman. I really mean this. I'm prepared and I'm serious. And they might go home and lay it on their kitchen counter and their husband picks it up, or they might pick it up and look at it when they have a little bit more space to process. So I want to encourage you to do that. And virtual, Jamie, what do I do if it's virtual? I would say if you're having a virtual party, turn what I just did into a live and offer a drawing for people who hop on live, or maybe a little $5 discount off their order for the party for watching the live and answering a couple questions. So like Dana shared that beautiful poem, Maybe She Needs Me. How many of you guys got a little emotional listening to that poem? Me too. It's a good one. I just want you to go back and think, how many of you were not looking for Mary Kay when somebody first shared it with you? Same. How many of you were surprised by what you heard when somebody did share with you? And how many of you are so glad that somebody had the courage to get outside their comfort zone and share with you? That's what I thought. And so just like riding a bike, you guys, we can't learn just by being in this class and taking notes. You can't learn to ride a bike by taking a seminar on it. You got to get out there on that bike. And so I want to encourage you when you get home to start sharing with people. It can be imperfect. You can fumble over your words, but the opportunity is good. And when the right people hear it, they're going to say yes. Thank you guys so much for your time. Enjoy the rest of your seminar. Love you all so much.